And before you answer that, you might want to put your wedding ring back on.
His hand closes over something on his desk. It is a bank. It looks like a bank. And it has a couple of stone steps that go past two pillars that lead through a door that looks like it would take a small army to knock down, and in you go.
It smells good too.
Okay.
Call from the rear to make sure no one approaches us.
You are in. The place goes. The door shuts behind you, and it's like stepping into a sanctum. It is quiet here. There is a very low hum of business activity. You are met by an accountant who ignores all of you except you. Although his eyes do pass over each of you before he then focuses on you.
Sorry we're late. I was held up by the century.
I'm sorry, Centurion. We were ready for you this morning. But please come in. The bank manager is just this way. And he leads you through the bank to a side chamber. And up to probably was a very nice closed door that as you're approaching, he walks up to it and knocks on it, and then knocks on it. And a moment later, a few moments later, the door opens and a secretary comes out, and the accountant leads you in. And you can give me a die roll if you want.
For what?
Perception, just observation, anything like that.
I rolled a 1, and I have some other benefits, but I don't know if that's worth anything.
Okay. The secretary was a bit disheveled. And he says, Centurion. He does the Picard maneuver. And says, Centurion, I was expecting you this morning. How can we be, please, come in, have a seat. How can we be of help?
Yes, there is some information that we wish to procure.
I received your letter with request for information, and as I'm sorry that you would come all the way down here to receive a duplicate of information, but we have reviewed the books as requested for the account number, transfer from the account number that the bank in Wand requested. And we find no record of any such activity from that account. If you want, we can show you the account.
No, I'd really like you to, actually.
Please.
Very well. And
I'm going to note now, just to say that it's been noted. On the travel between the Capitol building and to the bank, her halo was in her bag. Once they arrived there, she put it on.
okay,
Just FYI, I'm wearing it.
halo is on. That's fine. And he goes to the door and says, Andrew.
Yes.
Your name is Andrew? No, will be confusing. Brooke. And the accountant that escorted you in, because they want to see the book of the account. And he goes and he brings in, and there are ledgers. And he comes in with a ledger, big ledger. It's got dates, and he has notes, and he lays down the notes, and goes through and proceeds to show you all the activity for the account in question. They walk you through, and You can note that his accounting is, there are multiple hands that have done the accounting in this book. And so you can see where Andrew's work is and where other people's are. It is worth noting that Andrew's is precise and perfect. There are no others. There are moments where you will see where there's corrections because they miswrote a number or something. There are no errors, no mistakes on Andrew's work. It is pristine.
Were all transactions for this account done by Andrew?
No.
Okay.
But the majority were done by this account. And but he guides you through the activity for that account. And there is no activity of any money transfers to Wand at all.
What are the...
Is he lying?
Of course he's lying. What are the...
Phoenix, write this.
Well, things... Andrew knows in advance he's lying. That's not the hard part. The hard part is...
Getting the truth out of him.
Right.
So wait, but the account, this isn't me, this isn't her asking, this is me asking. The account number does exist.
Yeah, it does.
Find his weakness.
Yes,
He's
it
a
does.
rock boss.
What happened to the whole, that account doesn't exist?
No, the transfers don't exist that you requested.
What are the...
Also, I found the number.
Is it 437, 433, or
437 4322.
4322? Okay.
What are the destinations on the transactions?
All of the activity on that account is very mundane. You are looking at you're looking at the equivalent of what is a relatively upper class, what would be an upper class family. It's just that being an upper class family in East Side doesn't mean you're an upper class family. But they have money going in, they have money going out. They have very few transactions that are outside the city, and Andrew does say, if it was not for the fact that you have a centurion here, we would not be able to show this to you because this is a sort of an invasion of privacy, you might say.
We're still in Sebastianus' office?
Yes.
What's
So as you can see, at a certain point, when you've gone from for the time frame that you're talking about, you've now gone through and have seen all of the transactions for that account.
what's the family name on the account? Would that be noted?
It would be noted it's not relevant.
Sebastianus, look, I know this is your business, but we came for the real books.
If you had just suggested that Andrew Reichenbrook, the accountant, should go and sodomize a lamb, you would have the exact same facial expressions. He doesn't lose his
Stricken from your
cool
vocabulary.
at all. But you may be assured at this moment, you have not proceeded along the path to win friends and influence people. And Andrew opens his mouth, and Sebastianus says, I do not know what storybooks you have been reading, but this bank does not have 2 sets of books. We do not need 2 sets of books. We do not need to lower ourselves to that. The truth is sufficient to our needs.
Oh, lowering ourselves, truth. That's an interesting thing for you to raise.
Centurion, if you have any other requirements, we are glad to meet them.
We're here for the truth. I've got some truths for you. I've got some truths for your wife if you want. I've got some truths for her sisters. And I would have some truths for your father-in-law if he were still around.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't want to know what I'm talking about either. Can we see the real books and move on with this?
These are the only books. There are no fake books. This is not a mystery novel, a children's book, a little fantasy to entertain children. This is reality. And men's lives depend upon this. Their wealth, their livelihoods.
Yep, your livelihood is about to depend on this answer too.
There are no other books.
Could I have 1 second? Pulls you to the side. What is happening? Okay, we'll worry about that later. I have the files from Wand that say money came from this account and went to Wand.
Mm-hmm.
Would that help?
Give it a go. Have a shot. Andrew leans against the wall.
No. That was a genuine question.
Oh. Sebastianus,
Yes?
she has records that you're lying.
Oh.
Would
Very
you like
well,
to see
show
them?
us the records.
I usher you forward.
She pulls the copies. She definitely stares at Andrew for a good second. She pulls the copies she got of the files she got from the registrar, and she pulls them out, which has her name and those fake names and that account number
Lays
that
it
says
out.
it went.
And
And
Sebastianus reaches over, opens up a letter book, and lays out exact copies of the same information. Those letters came, the information in the question, and all of that. They've received this as part of the request. They know we know what we've been looking for. You asked for the activity on this account. We looked for the activity on that account. We followed it through. There has been a clerical error, and quite honestly, it seems that it happened in Wand. So I would suggest you go to Wand and you solve that with the bank in Wand.
the bank in Wand sent us here. I'm sure if you would like, we could put you in contact with the registrar of the Wand Bank.
Absolutely.
You might be applying for jobs for them soon enough. Look, I like dealing with you. I know you don't like dealing with me. I would love for you to stay manager of this bank. I don't know if your wife is going to let you. If she knows who you are. I don't really want to tell her. Honestly, that sounds like an awkward conversation for everyone. And I want to work with you. We're not asking that you share everything with us. We want to know these transactions and who sent the money.
That's it.
That's it. Provide us that, and you get to keep in charge of all these wonderful, lovely true books. And before you answer that, you might want to put your wedding ring back on.
His hand closes over something on his desk. and Andrew Reichenbrook actually starts forward and he stops him.
No!
And
No!
he says, Andrew, let us take the consideration the possibility that there has been an accounting error. Can you work over the weekend, go through all the ledgers, and find this transaction, if it exists? Andrew looks at you. Andrew looks at Andrew. The elder Andrew looks at the younger Andrew.
Who remains remarkably calm.
And says, yes, bank manager. Of course, bank manager. I would love to, bank manager.
It's been a pleasure doing business with you both. And Andrew opens the door.
Miriam says, sir, your first appointment is on Lamb's Day. The first opening that we would be able to fit them in would be afternoon Lamb's Day.
Is that Monday?
No, it's Tuesday.
Dang it.
Is this later, like a later scheduled thing?
Well, we were thinking this was going to be a one and done, but it appears we have to come back.
We'll have to make room.
Very well. I'll schedule 2 p.m. on Lansday. And he's like, 2 p.m. it is. And Elder Andrew closes the ledger, sticks it under his arm, says, I'll be in my office for a long time to come.
I take my papers back.
Is there anything else that we can help you with? No? Very good, Centurion.
Thank you very much for your time.
And he escorts you out. He escorts you out the door,
Thank you
out
very
of
much,
his
sir.
office, and you go on your way.
Everything back in the back.
Back to the
We get into the cab. Well, color me impressed.
What
And,
was that?
But you guys didn't. I thought it was obvious.
What was obvious?
We need the info.
Well,
Guys,
I
there's a
guess-
conversation happening. Sorry.
No. You said it was obvious. Which bit was obvious?
The affair?
You're right.
Yeah.
But you knew more than that.
Yeah, didn't you see the portraits?
No, I did not see the
Of
portrait.
the whole hall, that long hallway up to his office? Portrait, 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 portrait.
Of
Yeah, uh-huh. Who's the important person in the bank?
the manager?
Yeah, yeah. Do I have to spell everything out?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Jonathan Wilkes. Meneden Wilkes. Franklin Meneden Wilkes.
They're all family.
Johann Meneden Wilkes. Apollos Meneden Wilkes. And daughters.
He married it.
And then a sudden change of face. And Sebastian Meneden Wilkes.
So he
Yeah, he married in.
Yeah.
He married in. It's not his bank. But they had to keep it in the family, right? Keep it all in the family. Well, except him, apparently. He's probably not going to be part of the family a whole lot longer, but... I don't have to tell his wife. She'll find out.
And the
I like this kid.
It was all on the walls.
I know for a little bit I was wishing Arliss was back. You know, I'm glad you're here.
the carriage takes you back. You reach the ferry. In a few minutes, the ferry arrives. Frank bids you a good night.
We'll see you on Tuesday.
Thank you for feeding Strawberry.
I'll bring more carrots next time. Good to see you, Frank.
He'll look forward to it. And you get on the ferry, and the ferry takes you back across, and you leave East Side behind you, along with a number of other people escaping East Side. And you return to Cameron.